You might say that Japanese culture is having a moment in Los Angeles. But in reality, the city's Little Tokyo neighborhood finds itself under threat. Adam Yamaguchi has the story.
In downtown LA's historic Little Tokyo, displaced Japanese shops and shuttered family businesses line the streets. This storefront used to be Suihiro Cafe, a Japanese-American family-owned restaurant.
You don't have that much protection.
For over 55 years, Kenji Suzuki and his family served Japanese comfort food like tempura and ramen along First Street in Little Tokyo. But in 2023, he received an eviction notice.
What was that like for you and for the community?
It was one of those moments where everything just kind of like, you see just white.
Suzuki fought to stay open.
Little Tokyo's not for sale!
Patrons and community members rallied around the beloved diner.
This fight was much bigger than you or your restaurant.
Yeah. Before I used to work here for a paycheck, but now I'm doing it for the people that want to be here, that want to create new memories here. I want that feeling to really be a community feeling. Unfortunately, in Little Tokyo, we are only tenants. We were never the landlords.
Ultimately, he says, this Suihiro's location shut down, ending a part of the family's American dream.
Part of it are the rising rents and the economic pressures that a lot of the businesses have felt.
Eric Nakano, executive director of Little Tokyo Service Center, says today the community is dealing with a new wave of urban renewal.
This is like, the historic Main Street of Little Tokyo.
Threatening to undo a Japanese cultural hub. Starting in 1885, Japanese migrants seeking an escape from racism turned LA's First Street neighborhood into a refuge and a thriving business center.
Empty streets and vacated stores stand in shadow.
But during the Second World War, the community was erased from the map.
When the 1940s came, Japanese Americans were hauled off to concentration camps, over 120,000. Of course, Little Tokyo was, cleaned out.
Rebuilt after the war, Little Tokyo is once again reeling 80 years later. But this time, Nakano, who grew up here, isn't going to sit by. He, along with other community members, are actively working on a vision of a more permanent and resilient community called Sustainable Little Tokyo.
So what is the community doing to ensure that Little Tokyo lives to see another 140 years?
The strategy behind it was to be able to really target publicly owned land, advocating and pushing the city to allow for community-controlled development. It's really hard to deal with private property transactions.
He took us to several Japanese legacy businesses driving that vision, like Rafu Busan, a Japanese houseware and gift shop that's had to move 3 times due to rising rents, and Fugetsudo, a confectionery shop that's been cooking up Japanese mochi for as long as Ford Motors has been making cars.
I believe that Little Tokyo, while facing these pressures of gentrification and displacement, is a really resilient community.
We talk about the significance to the Japanese community, the Japanese American community, but this is about America. This is who we are.
That's right. America really is, a land of immigrants. They built special places like this throughout the country and remain a really important part of the fabric, right, of what this country is and what it can become.
Just blocks away from Suihiro's new storefront downtown, Nakano took us to the future site of a community-owned Little Tokyo development, First Street North, a beacon that will help ensure the Japanese cultural heritage remains for future generations.
So now this is the future home?
So yeah, this is the First Street North project that we're doing. It's 248 units of affordable housing on the ground floor. We're gonna have commercial spaces. The goal is for this project to reclaim what used to be Little Tokyo and to be able to bring it back to life.
A community once erased, now rising back up. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Adam Yamaguchi in Los Angeles.